Hello, I'm Christine Corba, a member of the League of Women Voters of the Greater Dayton area. I'm here today with candidates running for the Oakwood School Board. The candidates are Sarah Bourne, Lauren Kawai, Laura Middleton, and John R. Wilson. Sarah Bourne is not able to join us today due to a prior commitment. We'll start our interviews by giving each candidate 1 minute to tell us about themselves and why they want to serve on the Oakwood School Board. And we will start with Lauren Kawai.
Thank you for inviting me to all of us to participate this morning in this conversation. My name is Lauren Kawai, and I served for the last 4 years on the Oakwood School Board. I have 3 children in Oakwood schools. I am also a graduate, and my husband as well, of Oakwood schools. So a lot of my initial motivation for running was I would like to give back to the school system that I was a part of, and continue trying to make it the best that it can be. I also have a background in education. I am a former elementary school teacher. I have taught a combined total of 5 years between pre-K through 3rd grade, and have a master's in education from the University of Dayton. So I'm very passionate about education, public education in particular. And I just, feel like this was a good fit for me, to find a place to give back in the community.
Thank you very much. Laura Middleton, could you please give a minute statement to introduce yourself?
Yes, of course. Hello, good morning. Thank you for having us here for this opportunity to share a little bit about us and why we're each running for the board. So my name is Laura Middleton. So professionally, I'm a clinical pediatric and child psychologist. Really devoted my career to helping children and adolescents sort of be the best that they can be. I am running for re-election. Actually, have been on the board for almost 4 years now, almost one term. I've served as the vice president for the last almost 3 years, and I'm running for re-election because I feel there are projects and issues that I would like to continue working on. And that is why I'm running. I'm a huge proponent of public education. I want to serve so that I can promote public education. I also have 2 children in the district. We moved here in 2012, so I'm very invested in this community and our education system here in Oakwood.
Thank you. John Wilson, could you please offer us a minute introduction of yourself?
Yeah, I have my wife and we moved to the district in 2008. We raised 3 kids through the Oakwood Schools education system. They've all have launched and are thriving very well. And a lot of that is because of all the things that the Oakwood School District provided for them. And I decided to run for the school board 8 years ago. No particular agenda, nothing of interest that I necessarily wanted to accomplish or had an axe to grind, but rather just to serve my community. And I thought the best way to do that is, as an educator myself since 1995, the best place to do that would be within Oakwood schools, and serving on the school board seemed the place to do it. It's been a fantastic 8 years. There have been many projects that have helped to bring to fruition, and I'm very proud of, and I would hope to continue that work in the future.
Thank you very much. All right, we're going to start with our questions. And as a reminder, you'll each receive 2 minutes to answer each question. We're going to start with Laura Middleton. Laura, as a school member, how do you address parents' concerns?
That's a great question. So one of my platforms when I was running 4 years ago was to improve communication and transparency. And so one of my biggest priorities is to address parents' concerns. So I make myself very available Parents can reach out to me really any way they can get a hold of me. I set up meetings, I listen, phone calls, emails, etc. Sometimes so how I address a particular concern really is based on the concern. So I may need to point someone to the correct person within the district. I may need to bring that concern to other board members, of course, with the parents' permission to do that. I may need to bring the concern to the superintendent for further discussion. It really depends on what the concern is. But regardless of the concern, I I listen in an authentic, open way, and in a timely way as well. Parent concerns are, again, one of my biggest priorities. So,
Thank you so much. John, could you please tell us as a school board member how you will address parents' questions?
Yeah, absolutely. I think three words describe it, which is listen, listen, listen. And one of the ways of doing that is actually being out places where parents are. I think a lot of times parents um, feel awkward or feel hesitant to actually reach out to a board member, whether by email or by a phone call. And I think that, which is actually not the reason, or not the way that it's supposed to be. School board members are there as members of the community, as an oversight board, specifically so there's a conduit for parent concerns to go and to reach the superintendent. And there's really two kinds of responses typically that school board members have. The first one, which is the most common, is we'll be at an event, at a soccer game, at an arts event or something like that, and a parent will come up to us and they'll have a concern. And then what we do is we go and share it with the superintendent, because maybe the concern is with their particular teacher, it's with a facility, it's with an administrator that they didn't have an interaction with that they thought went the way that they should. And then our phone call is just simply to the superintendent and say, hey, I just want to make you aware of this. This parent is concerned. And then it's the role of the superintendent to direct it down into the administration or wherever it needs to go. So that's the first one. And usually it's just problem solving and getting people to the right person, community members to the right person within the administration. And the second type is something that is more of a parent who has actually gone through the channels and has maybe had 2 or 3 different meetings moving up the chain and doesn't seem to be able to get an answer that satisfies them. In which case, then we'll turn around and we'll have a conversation with the superintendent. And then what we'll do is we'll make sure that we follow up. Because that's a parent that's really been working the way, like I said, through the system, making sure that their needs are getting addressed. And that's how that works. Those two different kinds of situations typically.
Thank you so much. Lauren Kawai, as a school board member, how will you address parents' concerns?
So I feel like it may be the case now with all the questions where it'll be tricky to be the last one, because that's going to sound like a lot of reiterating what's already been said. But again, I think listening is key. Good communication is key. And I think that's a big part of our role as a school board member to, like John said, be the conduit between the community and the administration or the schools. So I've had parents reach out through various ways, in person at an event, through email, and have taken the steps to make sure they feel heard, acknowledge receipt of that communication. And then most of the time, in my experience, it has been the case that it's, let me help you know the proper protocol of, like, here's the next person you need to reach out to. If you've already done that, then here's the next step, and kind of guiding them through that process, taking the concerns to the rest of the board and the superintendent as needed. But I just think I have observed over the last 4 years, not only for us as board members, but the school district as a whole, when we are open, approachable, and willing to listen to parent concerns. Everybody, it eases a lot of anxiety that parents might feel. Um, Sometimes they just need someone to feel like they've heard their concern, and sometimes that can be enough. So,
All right, thank you so very much. The next question, John, you'll start with this time. What policies and practices should the school board adopt to address bullying at the schools?
Oh, wow. That's a great question. So, being an educator myself, I have watched the policies that have been mandated by the state and by the federal government. There is an entire body of law to address this because of instances of bullying that have gone as far as actually students taking their own life. And so districts take it very, very seriously. And before it, probably 20, 25 years ago, the way that schools dealt with bullying was to say, hey, you know what? We would make a phone call home. Hey, your kid is bullying. You need to do something about it. Or your kid is being bullied. Just want to let you know so that you can address it. And that was kind of it. And now there are all kinds of things that take place within a district. As soon as that word bullying is used, it triggers intervention from the counselors, from an administrator, going and interviewing students according to if it meets that threshold. And it's very much dictated by policy, not only at this federal and state level, but then also the policies that we address as a district. So the most important thing is that administrators are notified, counselors are notified, the student is brought in, and then there's an investigation done, and it's very thorough.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Wilson. Lauren Kawai, what policies and practices should the school board adopt to address bullying in the schools?
this is something that I feel very passionately about, and actually one of the biggest issues that I hope to tackle during the first term was to have a reporting system. The way that reporting goes, and it is usually either have to meet certain qualifications for something to be considered bullying and to show up on a report. So it could be the case that there are 0 to very few bullying incidents that are actually reported, when we know that the number is likely much higher. It has to be repeated, all these things. So I think we are making some steps towards improving that. There is a number that students or parents can call to report concerns. And I think, each individual situation is taken seriously and addressed. I think there's still some work to do to make some improvements. It's hard to monitor everything that a child says to another child in or out of the school building. But I do know that, we have very caring staff members that are doing everything they can to prevent that. We have a social emotional learning curriculum that, the hope there is to teach some empathy and some skills. And we have the counselors on hand to intervene as needed. We have like a student wellness center that our students can attend if they need that time for any reason. So I think the mental health support is there, and I think it's a very important issue, and there's always room to grow there. But I am glad that we have some systems in place where students and parents can report those kinds of incidents and get help.
Thank you very much. Laura, what policies and practices should the school board adopt to address bullying in the schools?
Yeah, like John said, great question. And like Lauren said, it's a little difficult going last because essentially I agree wholeheartedly with everything John and Lauren said. As far as bullying itself, obviously there are state requirements, and then district sets policy on bullying. And then of course, each building handles bullying incidents too, involves a number of people. So, this is a really important topic. I mean, obviously I'm my professional area is mental health. So this is very important to me. So let me go as far as the policy, that sort of sums it up, but I'd like to go a little bit of a different direction too. And I would like to prevent bullying. And so, having our district sort of focus on the whole child, the mental health initiatives, one of the things, that we've done, that the school district has done, is implemented a 3 R's system. So relationships, responsibility, and being respectful in the junior high and senior high. We have the Hope Squad, which is fantastic, the Wellness Center. There are a lot of resources that I wholeheartedly support and love, and actually would even like to expand that. So that we prevent bullying. Once it does happen, in addition to the policies, I would love to do more with restorative justice as well. I think that is a great approach in healing, if, of course, if it's warranted. Sometimes it may not be warranted, but if it is, I would love to engage in that as well. So,
Okay, thank you so much.
thank you.
Our next question will go to Laura. Describe the skills and experience you will bring to the school board.
Yeah, of course. So, I think just being on the board, what I learned in this first term is there's a very steep learning curve. It takes a little bit to understand the policies, the procedures, really, the systems, sort of how it all works. And so I think just being on the board, I think I bring that experience in, hopefully, if I'm elected, into a second term. I also have other board experience. I've worked on other boards. I do think my profession does bring me a really great perspective as far as child development, mental health, special education, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Another thing is I come from a really long line of educators. My mom is a retired professor. My dad was a teacher, a high school teacher, many people in my family. And so again, I kind of see it from that point of view too. And then also really I think my experiences as a parent too, especially with kids in the district, I bring that as well. So I kind of see like my professional, my sort of personal experiences. I bring all of that to the board.
Thank you very much. John, what skills and experience will you bring to the school board?
Sure. So I think the first thing is having 3 kids go through the Oakwood School District, and just being a parent provides a lot of insight in terms of the values and the norms of our district. Being an educator since 1995, and understanding how policies and procedures translate into the classroom, how they feel in the classroom as a teacher, as a staff member, I think that's something that I consistently bring to the board and ask those kinds of questions, and help to steer smaller and even larger policies that make sense for those who are actually implementing them in the classroom on a day-to-day basis. I also think being a government teacher is something that really helps because in terms of looking at larger societal, economic, political trends that are going on is something to help. I think that helps me, to kind of look around the bend, if you will, and to see what larger 5-year and 20-year trends are coming, and then asking as a district, how can we strategically place ourselves to be ready for those things?
Thank you. Lauren, describe the skills and experience you'll bring to the Oakwood School Board.
Yes, thank you. So I spoke a little bit about this during my opening statement, but I have a background in education, which I think gives me some insight into just how schools function. As Laura mentioned, having served a term already, I think takes a while of being in the role to get it figured out and to learn what you're doing. So I bring that experience of having already served 1 term on the board. Also, I mentioned I have 3 children in the district that range from elementary school, junior high, and high school. So I feel very kind of tapped into what's going on in all of those buildings. I have previous experience since I had stepped out of the classroom and decided to become a stay-at-home parent. I was able to devote a lot of time to volunteering within the community, and holding leadership roles in a local moms group, being on the farmers market board, serving with Citizens for a Better Oakwood. So I think the combination of all those experiences provides me with skills to hopefully be reelected for another term.
John, could you please offer a closing statement?
Yeah, it's been an honor over the last 8 years to serve on the Oakwood School Board. For anyone who's thinking of running or thinking of serving in the future, and if you get on the school board, it takes about 2 years to really get your footing and understand all of the funding streams coming in, the funding streams that are going out, policies and procedures. It is really it is drinking through a fire hose the first couple of years. And so having folks on the board that have served 1 term and then are willing to serve 2 terms or even 3 terms really helps the district tremendously. So I'm looking forward to continuing some of the projects that we have done, starting with, I was here when we started phase 1, moving to helping with phase 2 and providing some of that guidance, community concerns, community communications, and just hoping to continue to bring just my background and then the skill set that I've learned being on the board back to the Board of Education for another 4 years.
Thank you very much. Lauren, could you please offer a closing statement?
Yes. I feel like serving has been a learning experience. It's been overwhelmingly a positive experience to feel like in some small way that I am contributing or making a difference to the Oakwood school system. And my hope is that the 3 of us who are incumbents will be reelected for various reasons. But I think one of the main things is the continuity. Like John said, it is, a learning curve. And so I think it's really in the best interest of our schools to have that sense of stability. The 5 of us that are all current board members, we function very well together as a team, and that allows us to be productive and make positive changes. So I hope that it will continue to be that way and we can keep moving forward and making Oakwood schools the best they can be.
Great. Thank you so much for that. And Laura, finally, could you please offer a closing statement?
Yes. Thank you again for this opportunity for all of us to be here and to sort of share the things that are important to us and why we're each running for reelection. It's been a tremendous honor to serve on the Oakwood School Board. It has been a fantastic experience so far. I hope to continue it. I'm so proud of our accomplishments that our current board has had. There's so many. I have a whole list of accomplishments that we've done or that we've achieved. And I love our team. I love the district. And I would love to keep serving with our team that we have. I would love to bring that consistency to our district, to our community, and to our students, which is why I am seeking re-election.
Thank you very much. To each of you, thank you for your participation today and good luck with your campaigns. The League of Women Voters encourages all candidates to run an issues-oriented campaign. Our goal is to educate the voting public and to strengthen our elective process. The annual Voters Guide will be distributed beginning the first week of October, and it will be available in the Dayton Daily News, AIM Media suburban newspapers, including the Oakwood Register, and at local libraries, schools, and businesses. The last day to register to vote in the general election is October 6th, and early voting will begin on October 7th at your Board of Elections. And remember, you can always request an absentee ballot as well. However you decide to vote, your opinion matters and helps make our democracy work.